Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. It's time for another match reaction. Celtic 3, St Johnstone 1. A win right before the last international break of the season. It's the perfect way to end this portion of the season off. We're trying to keep those title fight hopes alive, and we've done just that. An important 3 points today. Let's try and cover it. The last time we do this for a couple of weeks. I hate international breaks. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. It would be much appreciated. I'll just go out there and apologise very quickly because the lighting feels terrible here. For some reason, one side of my face is pitch black. That's how it looks in the camera anyway, and I don't know why that is. All the lights are on. So if it's annoying you, I apologise. But you're here to hear my thoughts about the game. Celtic winning against St Johnstone quite convincingly this afternoon. It could have been another 4 or 5 on top of the 3 that we scored. Offside goals galore, chances missed, but ultimately what matters is that Celtic won the game. 3 points is exactly what I went to Celtic Park for this afternoon, and I left seeing the team get them. So let's try and break it down. Let's try and cover it. Standard business for Celtic. The team selection, I got 11 for 11, by the way, this week. Applaud me. I wasn't shocked with any of the selection decisions. Kyogo came back in, and I thought that was going to be the case after he got that goal against Livingston. And he took, advantage of that opportunity. He could have had a couple more, don't get me wrong, but he still scored this afternoon. That's the main thing. Nicholas Kuhn was allowed the chance to take advantage of his good performance last week and build from it. He done exactly that today. And other than that, a pretty standard team considering the injury situation we find ourselves in. I was pretty confident that that would be the team this afternoon, and it was. We've seen some good performances off the bench as well. So it was one of those games where you look at the team, and I don't think there was many performances you could fault today. No one really annoyed me, which has been a shock considering this season. Usually there's always one player that gets on my nerves, but I thought today everybody was well drilled. We played some good football. As I say, I think it was incredibly unlucky that we only scored 3 this afternoon. I think the biggest thing that was frustrating about the game was those missed chances, and we'll talk about that as we break down each half. But as far as team selection goes, pretty good decision from the manager to play some of the players who played well today, especially Nicholas Kuhn. I want to start off my video talking about him before we even talk about the game itself. And I'm not, once again, I feel like I always try my best on this channel not to jump in two-footed to either side. I'm not going to come out here and say he's going to be a star, and just like I didn't come out after his first couple of games and say that he was going to be useless. But what's good is now that we're seeing at Nicholas Kuhn with a bit more confidence in his game and exactly what he can offer to Celtic. I don't think that he had, a world-class performance that we're going to be talking about for years to come, but what we did see was a vast improvement from what we've seen in his first couple of games. And that was the same against Livingston as well. And it's nice, I know it's 2 teams like Livingston and St Johnstone have had really, really poor seasons, but this is the thing, you need those performances to start etching out a kind of idea of what you're getting with the player. And we weren't getting any ideas with him in those first couple of games. It was really hard to pin down exactly what Nicholas Kuhn was bringing to the Celtic side that was different from the wingers we already had at the club. And ultimately, you had to ask yourself the question after his first couple of games, does Nicholas Kuhn offer any genuine improvement over any of the wingers that we have? And over the last couple of games, he's now starting to show us what he does have in the locker. Today, I thought he was really good. I thought he was really direct. He ended up with a goal and an assist as well. So fair play to him. He really put in a shift, and he got applauded when he went off later on in the game. Rightly so, a man of the match worthy performance. He just looked so much more confident. He's willing to do things, and there was one thing that he was doing in the game for me that stood out, and it was just trying to win the second ball and trying to make up for errors. He didn't give up. There was a couple of times where he applied the pressure well to the St Johnstone fullbacks, and he got the best of maybe a poor decision made by a St Johnstone player. He was doing things that were just so small in the game, but they did make a noticeable difference, and it allowed Celtic maybe to carve out 1 or 2 extra chances in the game that we wouldn't have had without him putting in those efforts, without busting a gut. So there's definitely quality in there with Nicholas Kuhn, and we're starting to see that. But this is the thing, we need consistency. So if Nicholas Kuhn somehow manages to stumble across this video as he looks up his fucking highlights tonight on YouTube, what I ask of you, Nicholas, is don't do what every other winger has done this season. Don't tail off. Don't give us bursts of quality and then make us wonder why we even signed you. Keep it up. Because I think that we've seen Celtic fans get maybe a bit too high on one or two performances of certain players, and especially on the wings this season, and then it's just not came through, and that's no fault of the fans. We can only take what we see at face value, and we need to run with that. But there's not been enough consistency with some of the wingers this season, and I hope that Kuhn can really come onto the game now, because we need quality in those areas. It's an area that ultimately we need to be looking at in the summer. But if Nicholas Kuhn can perform from now till the end of the season, if he's given the chances against the likes of Rangers, then we actually have a player that we could maybe turn around and go, right, there's something here. But he took his goal really well, the way that he got on the end of it right at the start of the second half. His assist was nice as well for Kyogo. I liked what I seen of Nicholas Kuhn today, and I think he's probably one of the biggest talking points leaving the game at Celtic Park this afternoon. The rest of the first half, we usually go from start to finish in these match reactions, but first half we played really good. I thought that we played well, and it was I don't want to get in over it a bit here, I don't want to over-exaggerate, but I think that today's performance from start to finish was actually one of the better ones that I've seen this season. In all honesty, I thought that we played really, really well. It was a gutter to concede that late goal, a lapse of concentration that's seen us, lose that free goal advantage that we had in the game. And we'll come on to that as we talk about the second half. But in the first half, we had chance after chance after chance, a couple of offside goals. The only terrifying thing was, until we managed to break the deadlock, I thought that it was going to be one of those days. I thought that we weren't going to be able to find the net. We were being really wasteful, but we were doing the right things leading up to those chances that we missed. We were much more effective down both flanks of the park for me, especially on that right hand side the first half with Johnstone and Kuhn. But there looked like to be an energy back in the side, a lot more positivity. The passes weren't as negative, especially in the first half. We just looked like a better side altogether. And as I said, we could have had, we could have been up half-time 3-4-0 if we just, Kyogo missed an absolute sitter when it was still 0-0, and I was thinking to myself, he's, you start, all those negative thoughts start swirling in your head as he finished. No, I know that's an exaggeration, but genuinely we were missing big chances. But I just liked everything that we were doing, building up to creating chances in the first half. I thought that we looked like it was a more familiar Celtic. It was a Celtic that actually looked exciting at times. And that's a positive when you consider the team out in the park this afternoon is far from our best side. It just makes you wonder where it's been all season, really, because that's a team today that's missing Callum McGregor, it's missing Rio Hatate, it's missing some big hitters, and with them back, I want us to be able to be playing football like that. You know what I mean? I want to see us playing football, which does get you standing up for, this today. I think I jumped out my seat 3 times in the first half thinking that we'd scored. That's not happened this season. So where's it been? We got it against Dundee. We've got it now. I know we kind of struggled last week against Livingston, and it was a completely different game and a cup fixture. We need that. We need that back. And I was happy with what I seen in the first half. It gave me the confidence that we were going to go into the second half and do the job. And I think that's really credit needs to come with the team today, because we've seen it already this season a number of times where we've had chance after chance after chance, and we've been really, really poor in a segment of the second half or whatever, and we'll throw away points. But today they kept the head strong, they kept going forward, and we ended up being up 3-0 because we didn't allow St Johnstone back into the game. So we've learned from past mistakes, but we just need to start bidding more of those chances. I banged the table. In the second half, it was more of the same. We went out with the intensity right from the get-go. Scored in the 46th minute. We've already touched on Nicholas Kuhn, who scored the goal. Kyogo, I forgot to mention, I thought Kyogo was good. His movement for his goal, by the way. I know we might move on to the second half here, but his movement for his goal, that's more like the Kyogo we know and love. Where's that been? Where's that Kyogo been all season? If we had that Kyogo all season, we'd still be top of the league. So good movement from him, good goal. Starting off the second half really, really strong, and we were in cruise control after that. St Johnstone never really had a look in until they got their goal. It was just kind of basic Scottish Premiership 3 o'clock kick-off stuff today, and that's the way it should be week in, week out. And I mean that with all due respect to the sides that we're playing, but that's what it should be for Celtic. With the advantage we've got from quality standpoints to financial standpoints, we should be playing like that week in, week out, and it should be a simple story. And we made it like that throughout the first and the second half today. The subs and everything I thought were good today, apart from one thing we need to talk about, and one thing I need to get off my chest. What has Lagerbielke done? Has he offended in Rodgers in such a manner that is beyond comprehension? He did get on the park, don't get me wrong, which was met with an applause. But we took off Matt O'Reilly, and we brought on... Who did we bring on? We brought on Odin Thiago home, which was good to see him return. And we moved Iwata to centre half, which he's played it before, don't get me wrong. But what a kick in the balls that must be for Gustav Lagerbielke. And he does come on, but that's when we concede. Funnily enough, we conceded when we were playing a central midfielder at centre back. And then Lagerbielke comes on. I'm like, why did we not bring him on in the first place? We should have just made 3 subs at the time. I don't understand. I need to know this whole Lagerbielke thing. I need to know the lore behind it or something. But apart from that, the subs were... Jamesy Forrest had a cracker when he came on. Brilliant performance from Jamesy Forrest this afternoon, I thought. Great goal. Unlucky not to have another. The subs were all bang on, I thought, from the manager. So generally today, I leave the game very, very pleased. Happy with all 3 points. And I need to know what's happening with Gustav Lagerbielke because it makes no sense. Most importantly, this applies the pressure to Rangers tomorrow to get the 3 points. We currently sit top of the table, but that will probably change tomorrow. I assume Rangers will beat Dundee, but it does put the pressure on them. Psychologically, they're off the back of a European defeat. They've now got Celtic top of the table. These are the things that do matter in the run-in. And I expect Rangers to go and scalp Dundee, but I'd rather we won today than gave them another opportunity to extend the lead at the top. So... the last game before the international break, it's a good way to go out. We return from the international break with a lot of players who we've not seen in a while. I'm excited. Lewis Palmer will be back, McGregor will be back, Hatate will be back, Vickers should be fully fit and be able to play 90 minutes. We're in a good place. Well, we're not really, because we should be fucking home dry with the league title and basically Parkhead, but we fucked it. But anyway, at least we go in to this international break in a positive place after the result today. Right then, that does it for today. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I feel like I could have probably gave a lot more shout outs to individual performances, but everybody was fine today. Nothing negative to talk about. I was happy. If you've got things to greet about, then fair enough, but I'm going to spend my Saturday being happy with the 3 points, right? Thanks very much. See you all next time.